I've waited for him.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on a Halloween in 1978. He was shot by his own psychiatrist and taken into custody that night, and has spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Everyone in my family, turns into a nutcase this time of year. Yeah, I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
No, it was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Dad, look out!
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crashed?
Michael escaped.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him. Get out! Go home! Get inside! You don't believe in the boogeyman? He's here! Michael! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
Welcome, everybody, to episode 51 of They Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam, and I am being joined tonight by Josh Lambert, David Miles, and Tim Johnson. Hey, everybody, how you all doing?
Great.
Great.
You notice how we put you last, Tim?
It was not on purpose. Don't go starting shit, Dave. Don't go starting.
It was on purpose.
Shut up there, Dave.
I felt it.
Yeah, I felt it too.
All right, that's fine. You guys can feel whatever the hell you want. Moving on. Screw Tim's feelings, apparently.
Just my feelings, whatever.
That's right, that's right. No, tonight is a great episode. This is the second episode of the revamp of the show that we've been doing, where we will have a specific topic instead of a general roundtable like in every other episode. Tonight, we are going to talk about a single movie that just came out. Halloween 2018. And to start us off, we're going to talk a little bit about the story and the outline. Tim, take us out, buddy.
I wasn't prepared.
You weren't prepared? No?
I wasn't prepared. I mean, I saw the movie 3 times in 24 hours, but...
But he's not ready.
I wasn't ready.
Ready.
the story. It picks up 40 years later after the original events in 1978. Michael Myers is been in lockup at Smith's Grove, and the story basically picks up with these two British podcaster / investive reporters or whatever that are doing a piece on the babysitter murders, babysitter murders, again, that took place in 1978, and they go to visit Michael at Smith's Grove, and violence and awesomeness ensue.
That's right. A couple of key points that you pointed out there. One, I love the fact that they called the situation that occurred in the movie the babysitter murders, because that was the original working title for the movie itself anyway, right? So it's fantastic. And
one thing to note that I'd like to know going forward, is this going to be a spoiler-filled podcast or a unspoiler-filled podcast?
Spoil the shit out of it.
Fair enough.
Because if you're listening to this,
we put up a notice.
Yeah, we will put up a notice. So yes, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen,
spoilers.
This is a discussion about the movie. If you've seen the movie, listen to the episode. Part of the reason, I guess, why we'll have 2 episodes every week, because if you haven't seen the movie, then don't listen to the review episode, or do. We want you to anyway. But
Like and subscribe,
everybody. So excellent. So yeah, so the story in the outline, very well put, Tim. It's basically 40 years later. Everything's going to hell when Michael Myers is being transferred to a permanent facility outside of Smith's Grove. The Glass House, I think, is what they called it. What was it that they called it?
I think it was the Glass House. It's something like that, but apparently it's a very
shitty.
It's not a very.
That's where you go to die. Is basically what it is. That's where they send them to die. So very interesting. The story itself, all over. One of the things that it's getting shit on a lot by critics right now, but it's the same thing that happened with Star Wars Episode 7, really, in reality. Everybody's saying, took too many plot points from the first one, took too many little pieces from it, and, we basically have a retread of the first movie.
But to be fair, how many different ways can you tell fucking a mass killer on Halloween killing people? You know what I mean? Like, yes,
that's what the fans want. They want the same thing over and over again with a different name. That's all we want.
Thank you. And we didn't even get a different name. It's Halloween.
The literal same name.
but the thing is that like this was a soft reboot, basically, where they're bringing the franchise and this movie to a bunch of new people that might not have been able to, see the original in theaters. I mean, I wasn't even fucking born yet. I don't think any of us were.
Nope.
Maybe Dave. Dave was.
Dave's old.
But I don't think I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Your mom and dad,
Dave.
Mr. and Mrs. Dave, we're gonna take
Mr. and Mrs. Dave. Bouncing him on the knee, watching Michael Myers kill babysitters.
But it has enough of the original story that it is a reboot, but it still acknowledges the original movie, right? So soft reboot. I liked it. I like that they did that instead of, completely, I don't know, fucking doing something completely new. And there was enough new shit in there to make it feel new. So whatever. Michael Myers had an awesome mask and awesome kills, and in Haddonfield on Halloween night he killed a bunch of people. Awesome.
What more do you want?
What more do you want?
Exactly.
Dave, you look like you're...
I wanted this and I wanted that.
Yeah. No, that's... Yeah, okay. Dave, you look like you were about to say something.
Well, I agree 100% with what Tim said. But as...
Shit. Can we mark this on the calendar?
Oh, he's recording it.
It's
trust me.
Yeah.
But when you were kind of discussing and, talking about the timeline and all this kind of stuff, something just popped into my head that I didn't clue into before. A comparison. What they've done with Halloween is comparable to what they did with Star Trek a few years back with J.J. Abrams in developing the new Star Trek with the Kelvin timeline, where they've retconned the Halloween series. And we now have a new timeline that we can expand upon and get more movies. Like, instead of retreading, you know what I mean? Like the old timeline, we now have a new one that we can explore new opportunities, new scenarios, new things, and try to correct some of the things that, you know, obviously went wrong with some of the other sequels. So yeah, just when you were saying that, I'm like, oh my God, Star Trek. It's similar.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's true. Josh?
It's the new timeline, but they pay enough homage to the original.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess there's 3 original timelines after H2O. I don't know. It's very confusing chronologically, but they take from a lot of the other films to try and rehash it kind of and show you this is the new timeline and everything that happened in there. Well, here's a little bit of it.
Yeah. I did like some of the homages to the other movies and some of the nods, which were fantastic. I love the Silver Shamrock novelty masks showing up.
Oh my
on
God!
kids'
How
heads.
cool was that? That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Yeah. And you know what? In my opinion, because we've talked about this before, Halloween 3 is a fantastic movie. You know, fuck the haters for everything about it. To put that in their faces.
Was that at me?
Yes.
Are you a hater?
No, I don't hate it as a movie. I think it's a fantastic fucking horror movie. I like the idea. I like the premise, but
it's just
I don't
not
like
Halloween
it.
Series.
It's exactly.
No.
Yeah.
If it was just called Season of the Witch, I loved it.
It would have been one of the greatest modern, horror movies if it was just Season of the Witch. Everybody would love it. But the fact that Halloween was in the title is what pisses people off.
Well, I don't think they let anybody know that they were doing this whole anthology kind of idea.
The whole time you're sitting there waiting for Michael Myers, and it just never happens.
Exactly.
He shows up on a TV.
Yeah,
it's true.
That really messes with the chronological.
But no, I did enjoy seeing the masks. That blew me away, and I just it was a great little thing. Let's jump into a little discussion on the acting, actually, in the actual characters themselves. So, Josh.
Oh my fuck. The kid that's getting babysat, flipping his
Julian?
nasty ass toenails.
His nasty ass toes.
His nasty ass toes.
Oh, that kid killed me. I wish he had more
Julian
screen time.
was his name.
Julian.
Is Julian? Yeah, no. He was A1.
I agree. That's
But
what
you
I
want to know one
leaving.
thing that I noticed though was there was a bunch of kind of little comedic moments throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And it led to when, that whole scene with him and the babysitter, Vicky, I think her name was.
Yep.
So they're having this awesome back and forth, and then she dies. There's no comedy in the rest of the movie from that point on.
Yeah, everything takes a serious... Everything that was somewhat comedic or happy about the movie, suddenly everything started taking a negative dive in tone.
Like, once he was all, peace, and left, no comedy. I know, because I watched it 3 times in one day. None.
3 times in 24 hours.
I went in expecting Jamie Lee Curtis to be a badass, and went out seeing Jamie Lee Curtis being a badass. So...
She's taking a lot of comparisons to Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely.
And, well, I mean, sorry, Adam.
Go right
How's
ahead,
it feel? How's it feel?
Shut up. Move on. Absolutely, continue, Tim.
Well, I mean, you look at Sarah Connor in the original Terminator, and you look at the 1978 Laurie Strode. They're very similar characters. They're thrust into this situation with an unspeaking, unrelentless force tracking them and trying to kill them, right? The movies are very comparable. And so it only makes sense that their older counterparts would be comparable as well, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I agree. Dave.
Yep.
Dave what?
Dave has anything to add about characters on this.
Oh,
your chair is crying, Dave. Please stop sitting at me.
Oh, there it goes, squeaking again. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the characters were half bad. Some people don't like the new Doctor. I thought he was interesting. I didn't totally hate him. I was a little disappointed with. I got excited for a second when he killed This is spoilers, right? Yeah, okay.
Spoilers.
So I got a little excited when he killed the sheriff, and then he put on the mask, and he was like, I thought, oh yeah, we're taking it in a new direction. We're going to go somewhere. So I like what they were starting to introduce, but then it kind of fell flat a little bit. But I like some of these new characters that they did bring in. I thought it was very, very cool to have like podcasters, investigative journalists, as the excuse, basically the catalyst. You know what I mean, for the whole thing. It modernized it. I thought there wasn't a whole lot of character development, but
No.
I thought the characters were. I didn't expect character development in a movie like this. I mean, Tim
did apparently.
Just because we were just talking about the Doctor and how his character was very much, reminiscent of Loomis. I heard that if Donald Pleasance was still alive, that is the character arc that his character would have taken. Because of him, absolutely. Where he's spent his whole fucking life trying to analyze Michael Myers, and he didn't get anywhere one way. He's at the end of his rope. Fuck it, I'll do it another way. And so this is what it feels like. And, he puts the mask on. And I could totally see crazy old Loomis doing that, right?
Get to see
I
Michael
love the
in
introduction
the
to
wild.
the new.
Pardon?
Sorry.
I was going to say, just gets to see Michael in the wild. Doing
Well,
his
yeah.
thing, right? Unleashed. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I really like the introduction to the new Doctor. They're like, "Oh, you're the new Dr. Loomis."
You're the new Loomis, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys feel about Judy Greer's the daughter?
I thought it was good. I thought she was a good addition to the movie for sure. I do like how her relationship, going back to the whole Sarah Connor thing, her relationship with Judy Greer as her daughter was a lot like what you would assume Edward Furlong's character would have been like with, right?
Yeah.
It preparing and militarization and you got to get this down and this down. You got to understand how to use a gun and et cetera, et cetera. And I like how it came out in the end that the whole movie, she's pushing it away. No, this is not the life I want. This is not the life I want. You're crazy, mom. You're crazy, mom. But then when shit hits the fan, badass. Just like her mother.
The thing that bugged me, though, about that relationship is they treated poor Laurie Strode like she was insane. Like she made all of this up and it's all in her head. And it's obviously not. It happened. It's been documented. They arrested him. They have this real person that did all this, right?
No, but it's not that they were denying that it didn't happen. It was...
He's not going to escape. It's not
Get
going to
over
happen
it.
again.
Yeah,
Guess
move
what?
on.
Halloween 2018, he did.
Exactly.
Which is what she says, basically. He's out. He got out.
And I like the granddaughter as well, Allison, because she reminded me a lot of a more modern version of Laurie's character in 78, right? Even the whole walking to school and with her friends talking and all that kind of shit. I liked it. But why did she refer to fucking Laurie Strode the whole time as grandmother? It just felt so awkward. But upon my third viewing, that's how Laurie introduces herself at the table. I'm the grandmother, right? So if they don't have a relationship with
They're
Laurie,
disconnected. Yeah.
they're disconnected. So they refer to her almost as a title as opposed to Nana, Grandma, whatever, right? Yeah. So that's... Allison doesn't know any different. She's grandmother. But the first two times, it annoyed the fuck out of me. Yeah. Did you call grandmother? Grandmother. Oh, grandmother.
Oh, grandmother. Yeah, so there was at least the epic scene where we knew Nick Castle had donned the mask. And to me...
It's not the scene we thought. I watched it last night.
Which scene was it?
The behind the scene. Okay, so apparently it was James Jude Courtney that was 98% of
the Shape.
Michael Myers and The Shape. He's actually Michael Myers too, with the beard and the white hair and everything.
Oh, okay.
The only scene that it's Nick Castle in the suit is the mirror scene. The first time Laurie Strode sees him, and she shoots right in the face. Yeah, that, and he tilts his head in that scene. It wasn't the scene that that we will talk about later. That wasn't him.
Oh,
unfortunately.
It convinced us.
That goes to show how good the new guy is, though.
Yeah.
Oh, this new guy is fantastic.
Yeah, he is. He's the shape. He's the shape. There's no doubt about it. So that just brings us to the point of gore and effects in this movie, because that's the scene right off the bat, Tim, that you and I were assuming that was him. That was one of the great scenes in the movie. So go ahead.
What the fuck? The scene where he kills Dr. Sartain.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am Fabio Frizzi, and you are listening to Daycast from the Coast.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's continue on with this conversation. We're going to keep the discussion going about the gore and the effects, the kills in this movie, because there were a lot. Tim, you said you counted 19?
I could be wrong, but I'm assuming on screen and not necessarily ones that we've actually seen him kill. There's 19 people dead.
There's 19 people dead. That's a lot of. That's a big
impressive
body
count
for one movie. For one movie.
Well, for one movie, and it's almost what bitch, you forgot about me? I'm Michael Myers, right? Because the thing is, everybody keeps saying that he only killed 3 people in the original movie, but he killed 5.
Well, and they brought that up, I think, in the movie. They actually, at one point, they said 3, and then another point, they said 5.
Laurie said 5 because he killed Judith, he killed the fucking guy that he got the overalls from, and then he killed the 3 people in the house. Yeah. Right. Even though technically one of them was the babysitter. Technically.
Yeah.
The other one just came over to fuck her boyfriend.
It's true. All right. So, other kills that were in this movie. Fantastic stuff. Tim, you mentioned, I think this was pretty much one of your favorite kills in the entire movie, the homage to the very first movie.
Oh my god. Yes. Yes. But, I mean, really, all these kills are kind of homages to the original movie. I mean, the whole, Vicky and her boyfriend, and just the way the house was set,
and the sheet over Vicky,
the sheet over Vicky, and then her boyfriend. Oh my god! Reversed through the neck against the wall. Oh, I wish we could have seen that
with the knife that he went after Michael with.
Yeah, he lifted him up, and then I wish that we could have seen that. What kill are you referring to?
That was the one I was referring to.
Okay, all right.
That was the one that blew me away quite a bit when I was watching it.
I loved it. But I mean, we mentioned it earlier, and I don't want to I don't want to personally talk about all the kills, but the one that I do really like is that amazing scene that Dave was bringing up, where he looked in the window, walked around to the side of the house. The woman looked out the window. He grabs her by the head, smashes her face in, brings her up, and then whoosh, right in the fucking throat.
Yeah,
loved it.
Extra brutal, because there wasn't just a lot of stab, it was smashing and stabbing.
Yeah, it was one smash and then almost to kind of daze her so she wouldn't fight back.
Yeah, pretty much. Other cool things that were in this movie, though, guys. Other cool things. Josh, it was something you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, so the opening credits with the decomposed pumpkin that slowly reforms back up.
Yeah.
Neat.
Do you almost think that was kind of had a deeper meaning?
How the Halloween series was all decomposed,
dead,
trashed, and it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's the exact same pumpkin that was carved out in the first one too.
Yeah.
Like how the little nose was cut down into it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Blumhouse basically taking a shot at the sequels that they basically murdered. It went from a decomposed state to
that's
fresh.
the series as they continued, and then it's rewinding it almost
back up. That's right.
You want to know what I'd like to bring up? The John Carpenter soundtrack.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so my first viewing, I didn't hear the soundtrack at all. Just because I feel like I was overwhelmed with the kills and all that. But my second and specifically my third viewing, that's all I heard. And because I mean, my first viewing was Thursday night, and the soundtrack wasn't out yet. Like, I couldn't find it on Spotify. I couldn't find it on iTunes. I could just been looking in the wrong place. But when I woke up the next morning, it was on Spotify. But me and Adam immediately went to the 12:30 show, so I didn't listen to it. So in between going later on that night, while I was home, I listened to the soundtrack, and holy fuck, it's so good.
Yep.
Yeah. I had that soundtrack on repeat at work the moment that it got released Friday.
Was it Friday that it actually came
Thursday.
out?
It was Thursday. It was Thursday because I had Friday off because I went to the movie with you. But Thursday it got released in full on YouTube and on Spotify. Oh. I had it on repeat from the moment I seen the link appear for the rest of the day. People would come by my office and going, "Is that Halloween?" I'm like, "Yes, it is. What do you want?" Like, sitting there bobbing the head. Yes, it's Halloween.
I like how they didn't
what
just
can I help
use
you
the
with?
original soundtrack and just keep playing it in. They played with it so much and did exactly what I wish Star Wars would do with the new series.
Yeah.
Whenever they use it, they used it so well and changed it to meet the mood and meet the Michaels kills, and it just lined up so perfectly with the film.
And yeah, I absolutely agree. My favorite piece out of it, aside from like his redone theme and all that, my favorite piece out of it, I believe it's called "The Shape Hunts Allison." Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like 54 seconds long, but there's just something about the strings in that mixed with like guitar, and it was just, I fucking loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. And then when the bass kicks in, and when he's chasing after Allison after she sees her boyfriend is impaled on the wrought iron fence. But in the theater, did you go see it in Dartmouth at the ABX?
No, we went and seen it in Bears Lake.
So I don't know if all the theaters had it, but I know the ABX theater had the bass pumped up. And when that played, the seats were shaking. And because it gets
Look at Adam's face. Adam was like...
But the bass, when the bass kicks in halfway through the song, as he's walking towards her, as he's chasing her, literally the theater was shaking. It was amazing. Oh. What an experience! It was awesome.
Did you say her when he saw her boyfriend? She saw her boyfriend.
That's the other thing.
Or not her boyfriend. Sorry, the guy
the drunken guy.
Yeah, the drunken guy. Yeah.
Her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend's friend.
Yeah.
Which is funny though, because he was actually a funny character at the beginning, like the whole roughhousing in the high school. It was fun.
But when you watch it, again, you see how creepy it is. He kissed him. Remember when he was like, "Oh, let me kiss you," and then he kisses her, and he's like, "Mwah, mwah." Like he kissed her a bunch of times. It was
creepy, extra creepy.
Yeah,
extra creepy guy. Yeah.
Cool death though.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially because when you come back, once again, it's one of those scenes where he gets stabbed, but then it cuts away, and then it comes back, and he's impaled and dead. So, like, it went further at that point. But then all of a sudden, Michael appears.
Well, and one of the things specifically about that kill was it was very kind of old school, too, where he was almost just stalking him. And, like, he's standing in behind, and then, "Hey, blah, 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 sorry, I'm on your lawn," or whatever, and then the lights go off, he moves, and then he's like, "Whoa, that's great." Like, I like the build-up for that, because, I mean, it wasn't really that much over the top of a, kill, but it was the build-up that made that so much better.
He was playing a game. He was playing red light, green light, You gotta remember, this is a guy who was plucked out when he was 10 years old and stuck in a mental institution. He has the mentality of a child. 6 years.
6 years
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's great. So we talked about the new Loomis character, right? The Doctor in this one here too. I really did like the twist on this. So, whatever people say, but I did like his kill on the sheriff, or well, not the sheriff, the deputy, as it were.
No, he was sheriff.
Was it
he
the
was
sheriff?
Officer Hawkins. Yeah, he was an officer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, he was sheriff.
He was a deputy in 78.
Okay.
When they alluded to that piece of,
Yeah. But I did like the pen. And he skinned, like the knife came out of the pen. It's like, it was really interesting because it's like the pen showed up at the beginning, showing him signing documents. And it was a really interesting, like, because they really played with visuals and sound at the beginning of the movie. The fan, boom, 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 and then him writing with the pen, and visually it showed like the backbone pen that was there. But then all of a sudden the pen comes out, and it's got this damn blade in it, and he just slices the shit out of the guy. And I got to give it credit. It wasn't the most fantastic kill in the movie, but it had a great impact on the movie. Because all of a sudden, here was the twist that, in all honesty, I did not see coming.
No, and I think that was that's what made it good. Is you're more or less expecting every single person that comes in contact with Michael Myers to die, right? And the fact that Michael Myers is out for the count because he just got hit by a car, and then you think this doctor is good, and then all of a sudden, boom, right in the side of the neck, right?
Yeah. I didn't like the fact that they killed the sheriff, but I appreciated it as far as the storyline went. Like it made sense. And I thought it was worthwhile. Like it was a good setup. It was a good kill. But I don't know. I kind of liked the character. Like I liked the sheriff. He was a down to earth character. Yeah.
But you also got to think the impact that would have had if he was still alive at the end, trying to go through the house with Laurie. Like it would have been completely different because he wasn't necessarily, an idiot. He was a very capable police officer, not like his two fucking other guys talking about brownies and shit.
It's something a 5-year-old would pack if he could pack his own lunch.
I love that scene.
It's funny. All right. Favorite or best kill? Best kill in your opinion. Josh.
The kid. The kid said, at that point, it completely set the film for me. I was like, yeah, it's no holds barred Michael today.
All right, so not necessarily the fact that it was the most brutal or graphic.
No,
it was
just
impactful.
for storyline progression. Okay. At the end of the day,
Dave,
that single take, it's brutal. It just plays out very nice. It's an homage to the original with a single take. It worked. It was really good. Yeah, and it helped show the brutality of Michael Myers. I mean, slam in the head and then jam. Yeah, it was nice. I liked it. My favorite.
Nice. Tim.
I like all of them, but that's not the question you asked. So, if I had to pick, the one that I remember the first time I saw it and lost my shit was Dr. Sartain getting his head smashed, and then the tilt, and you're looking up at Myers. That's the one that got me.
Yeah.
But I liked all of them. Like the one Dave picked, the kid getting killed. I was like, what the fuck? They killed a kid? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I like all of them, but the one that I lost my shit over was the head stomp because it was over the top. It was so over the top, but it was done in a way that it wasn't over the top in the context of the movie, right? So
yeah,
because they
was an interesting one.
Well, I was just gonna say they established him as he's fucking strong.
Yeah. But that was an interesting one because the first angle, it looked like he stomped on his whole head. Like it looked like his whole head was gone. And then you see in a different angle. Yeah, exactly. And it was just right there. So it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. I definitely got to, join Tim on this one. That was the most impactful. That was, in my opinion, the best kill of the movie. Just because with everything that the doctor had done to basically, and now I'm going to point this out too, because we hadn't discussed this. How the fuck did Michael cause that accident? I think the doctor was involved with getting that bus to the crash.
Absolutely.
Totally.
But it never really came out. You know what I mean? No. But you're looking at it, and he just obviously got injured in the process, right?
But didn't he kind of allude to that when he had Allison in the car, and Myers was asleep in the back? Like, didn't he kind of? That was one of his biggest regrets, is because he never got to see Michael in the wild.
And now he got his opportunity and stuff like that. Yeah. So you kind of put two and two together, and he obviously had something to do with it. But then for him to be so enthralled over the fact that Michael had just nearly killed him and dragged him out of the car, and he's sitting there going, "Say something! Say something!" And Michael just... I'm going to speak with my foot, apparently. and
the fact that they didn't make him say anything. Right? Like,
because
how horrible
I was really waiting for him to say something stupid and cheesy, and I was like, this is gonna ruin it. But I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was sitting there going, oh, please do not say something, because that's just gonna be the end of the fucking movie for me. So I agree. That was probably the best kill in my opinion, just because the whole situation and the impact of it. And once again, when it was complete, looking up and seeing Michael do the head tilt. And now,
like the fucking police lights flashing,
the red and the blues going, and
awesome.
and the fact now that I know that it wasn't Nick Castle doing that, but we were convinced it was, that sets a tone for me too, because now I know it's in good hands with that acting as the Shape, and he did a fantastic job. So
another thing that before you bring it up, this is just one thing. Like I said, I've seen it 3 times. One thing that I really appreciated was the fact that they separated, even though Michael Myers is, you look at the guy in the mask, it's Michael Myers. They really set a precedence of establishing that Michael Myers, the man, the Shape. They were two. Do you know what I mean? Like they were spoken upon, especially when I can't remember his name. Oh, Aaron, the podcaster at the start, where he was like, "No, that wasn't the boogeyman. That was Michael Myers in a mask." Do you know what I mean? Like, I liked how they did that, because usually when you refer to Michael Myers, it's Michael Myers. That's Michael Myers, right? But yeah, I like that. I just wanted to get that out. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make this go longer than it had to. I'm sorry.
The rich ass podcaster.
I'm sorry.
$3,000 for an interview. Rich ass fucking podcasters. What the fuck?
I like them. Everybody shit on them. I like them.
No,
I thought she was kind of cute with her little British accent and her fucking old school clothes. I liked her.
Look, they were good.
I liked when they had the stuff all laid out and they had the tape recording play, and it was like the old Loomis, and they had like the papers and.
Yeah. No, I thought it was cool. And I'm glad they died at the start of the movie because you look at the trailer. The trailer leads you to believe that they're main characters in the movie, right? Like the trailer starts with them talking and the voiceovers and interviewing, and I almost at one point watching the trailers almost thought that maybe they were the reason he escaped, right? But obviously not.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Okay. So that being said, what we're going to do then is we're going to open up the floor to anything else that needs to be said about this movie. Any other final thoughts that you guys have? And then we're going to rate this movie. Josh,
before we do that, why don't you explain our rating system? Yeah, because this is the first time that we're using this on this show.
That's true.
It's an old concept for something else that didn't pan out. We're going to use it here, and no one's the wiser.
It's a very simple. It's a very simple.
Now they know, Tim.
Now? Okay.
That was the point, Josh.
Damn it, Josh.
Now they know, Tim.
Now they know. So, very simple rating system. The whole idea is not going to be that we're going to give it X amount of stars out of whatever. All we're going to do is literally give a thumbs up or thumbs down to the movie, but we're going to call it a slash or pass. Slash because you like the movie. Pass because pass on it. Didn't pass. Yeah, exactly, Dave.
Well, see, Dave did it. Yeah, but when Dave did it, it didn't look like that.
Like I went. Dave's like. Exactly.
I was mimicking Adam.
I know.
Exactly. So I appreciate it, Dave. I appreciate it. Slash or pass is how we're going to be actually reviewing these and giving our final critique. So until that happens, though, at first. Final thoughts, anything to add, and then give it your rating, slash or pass. Josh.
Final thoughts. Do we think he's coming back? He's pretty much invincible at this point. He got hit by a car. He got shot in the neck. He had his fingers blown off.
But he's not supernatural, damn it.
But isn't he? Just because they didn't allude to it doesn't mean that he's not. We even discussed this after we saw it. It had that amazing final shot where he's looking up and there's no fire. And then it goes back to him, and then there is fire. And then it goes back to that same shot, and he's not there.
He's in the corner in a fetal position, burning alive. There you go.
They stuck him in a room full of like guns and who knows what else, canned tuna and beets. He's set.
He's eating cooked beets now. Yeah, you never know what happened. I agree. I don't think that he's dead, but I don't think that it's a supernatural thing.
Hey, this is Josh's final thoughts.
But go ahead,
Josh's final thoughts.
If they would have killed him, what I really would have liked is when the spikes ran through to like lock him in. I wish so bad his arm would have been up, or even halfway through going up the stairs chasing after him, the spikes would have got him. But
you wanted Michael dead, you bastard.
No, he's immortal. He can't die. But I just wanted to see him a little more pain.
A little bit more pain.
Hey, he got shot in the neck. I mean, that's pretty good.
He got his fingers blown off.
Yeah.
He's already in pain. He got hit by a car.
I don't think he feels pain. I think the doctor's been pumping him up with steroids and super vitamins, making him tough.
Super vitamins?
Oh my god.
Super vitamins.
Super vitamins.
Super vitamins. All right. Slash or pass?
Slash.
Slash all the way. Got it covered. Dave.
This is the movie I've been waiting 40 years to see. The true sequel to Halloween. Fantastic movie. I do have one gripe. I wasn't a huge fan of the father character. I thought he was annoying.
And now I got peanut butter on my penis.
Like,
I thought he was fun.
He grated on my nerves every time he was on the screen. I didn't like him, but everyone else I loved the movie. I thought the movie was fantastic. I can't wait to see hopefully a follow-up to this one. Definitely a slash for me, no question.
Nice. Tim.
Okay. I was a little off-put when they said that, the only one movie that counts now is the 1978 one, and all other ones don't count. Because I really liked Halloween 2. It felt like part 2 to the original, right? But after seeing this, I'm okay that none of them count anymore if this is the sequel. Because I really liked this sequel. It's not perfect, but neither was the original one. The original one is not perfect, but it's good. And this one... What?
What was that?
David's getting a little film snobbish on you. What do you mean the original's not perfect?
No, there's a bunch of inconsistencies in that fucking movie. Anyways,
That's enough out of you, Tim.
Yeah, that's
next.
A whole other fucking conversation. Anyways, this movie actually felt like Dave said, a true sequel to the 1978. I like the progression of the characters. I'm okay with none of those other movies counting now. I'm okay because this is good. My only hope going forward is that they make one more and have it as a trilogy, and that's it. Because because then you'll get into repeating past mistakes of having Michael Myers and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, what's he going to look like when he shows up in the sequel? I think his mask is going to be burnt to his face.
Oh, I hope. I want to see like an old.
So like he can't take it off and shit. I think it'd be awesome. But as far as this movie is concerned, I thought the kills were great. The soundtrack was amazing. I love that Carpenter was involved and sanctioned this and fucking embraced it and loved it. Which, aside from Part 2, is only the only other Halloween movie that he kind of like endorsed to a point. Yeah, I loved it. It's an absolute slash for me. Absolutely.
Nice. All right. I agree with all the sentiments that everybody here has provided on this movie. It had amazing kills. It had great acting. I only really had a couple small gripes with the movie, but they weren't really big. At the time when we were talking about the whole grandmother thing, that was kind of a bit of a piss-off, annoying thing for me, because it was just kind of like the dialogue seemed a little off, is all that it really came down to for me. The movie overall kind of exceeded my expectations. I didn't go in with low expectations at all, so I got to be clear about that. I went in going, this movie's going to be fucking awesome. But with the twists that happened and the acting and the outstanding kills, the only thing I would say is that I wish that they didn't reveal so many of the kills in the trailer. Because really, if you watch the trailer, I'm sorry, the trailer basically shows a large chunk of some very good scenes from the movie. And there were a lot of other scenes that they could have built a good trailer with that wouldn't have released as much.
Well, the whole closet thing, I mean, watching it in the movie, I'm like, the suspense, the lead up, like, this is a great scene, but it's spoiled. I've already watched it in the trailer countless times.
In one of the trailers, it showed that it was actually Vicky under the sheet.
Yep.
Perks of not watching any promotional material before going into a film.
There you go.
Right here.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. All in all, I can't wait for something else to just come out. You know, everything's going nuts on the internet right now about the fact that Blumhouse wants to greenlight right away a sequel and get the original writing staff back involved. And just, while the momentum's going, let's just do this. So I hope they have
Why not? Let's do it.
Let's do it. I hope they have something fresh. I hope they have a great idea and just move forward. So my rating on this movie is a definite slash. So we have a 4/ film, ladies and gentlemen. 4 slashes. Tim has something else to say, though.
Oh, I forgot.
I
honestly did. I honestly forgot what I was going to say. I honestly did. Well, because I had something that I was going to say, and it's gone. It's gone.
We're gonna start an outro, and then Tim's gonna jump in.
Oh, wait!
I want to mention something. Visualize this one as the actual third in the series. So what if Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 existed, and then this one came along as a closure to a trilogy, right? We still have Laurie Strode 40 years later.
But Michael ain't blind and shot in the eyes.
Well, I mean, they absolutely gave
They
space,
had the mask.
Basically saying, hey, this could, like, because they didn't say that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know
There's
what I mean?
nothing that directly contradicts the second one in there, is there?
A little bit how they said that Hawkins was the deputy on the scene and he showed up to stop Loomis from shooting.
And they apprehended him that night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and they say that.
It's still the same night. Halloween 2 takes place the same night. I mean...
Yeah, but they also didn't apprehend him. He burnt alive. Or he burnt.
He cried tears of blood.
Yeah. I mean, yes, there are a couple things, you know, with Halloween 2, but they could have easily, in the third one, changed it up or had some sort of explanation. I don't know. But, I mean, it could have worked as an actual third. Just throwing it out there.
No, I remember what I was going to say.
Go.
Fuck, I forgot. No. The thing that I really liked about this also is the amount of screen time Michael Myers had. Not necessarily as the Shape, but literally 5 minutes into the movie, there he is. You don't see his face, which I was happy they didn't really reveal, but I know once you get it on Blu-ray and pause it, you're going to be able to see, you know, James Jude Courtney. Because it was him, because there was one scene where he's outside at the Smith's Grove, and you notice the scar in his neck from the sewing needle. This guy in real life has this weird kind of bump on his forehead. And you see that throughout the whole movie, that Michael Myers got this weird fucking lump on his forehead.
Nice.
Well, not really, because the guy's obviously injured some way, so... You sadistic bastard. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I was really happy at the amount of screen time Mike Myers had throughout this whole movie. Like, he was the main character, right?
Yeah.
Just as much as Laurie, right? So.
No, agreed. This is a movie that will definitely be coming home with me when it gets released. I will be seeing it many, many, many times. A good friend of mine basically said the other day, he didn't give it as high of a praise as what we're giving it, but he gave it some really good praise. But his verbiage on this was that he feels that this is a movie that's going to grow on audiences even more. It's going to be a movie that in 5 years' time, people will pull out Halloween and then watch this one, immediately afterwards. This is the direction that he feels this movie will take with people watching this movie, you know, horror fans watching this movie and how they've taken it. So,
I just think, you know, we've had the original 78 for almost 40 years, right? For 40 years. So we've had this ingrained in our head, right? So something new comes along. Obviously, your first instinct for most people is, I don't like it. It's different. It's different. I don't like it.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, oh my God, some of the comments I've read on Facebook. Oh
yeah, I tried to.
Oh, you idiots!
We're gonna have to start
2 out of 10. 2 out of 10.
We're gonna have to start that internet shaming category thing that we do, where it's like, let's read comments on the internet now. Really? 2 out of 10? Okay, whatever.
So real quick, because I know we're trying to close this off, but in the end, what was the maybe I missed it. Maybe I was just so enthralled with what was on the screen, but. Did they ever mention what the actual reason or what they figured the reason was for him coming back to Haddonfield and pursuing Laurie and her family? I mean, was that ever directly addressed, or
it's just pure evil? But if you watch the steps towards how he found Laurie, he was directed to Laurie.
Yeah, he was directed by
the doctor. Brought him.
Only assume the doc. Yeah.
Okay.
So everything he was directed in that manner. He's pure evil. He's unleashed on the town. He's finding victims. People just so happen to fall into his direction, and then the doctor gets him in the SUV and is taking him to Laurie's. He ends up literally outside of Laurie's house. What's he going to do? He's going to murder people at Laurie's house. Just so happens, Laurie's there.
We never talked about. Sorry, we never talked about the point where they switched from prey to predator. When he's walking through the house and all of a sudden he looks down to go see her.
Oh, that was so badass. So badass.
What did you call it?
So happy to have...
What did you call it? Batmaning?
She Batmaned him. She Batmaned him.
Yeah.
So that's what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, they did that a lot with Laurie too. I mean, if you look at Allison, she's at school, almost the identical setup, and she looks out and there's
she is,
sitting, right?
Yeah. That whole ending scene though, where she's going through the house, checking the rooms, and then locking them.
Yeah.
Oh,
she is the perfect,
awesome
candidate of a horror movie of the person that sits there. Why didn't they just do this? Why didn't they just do this? She is that person that has the house that does that.
Yeah. She is doing what you want her to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why don't they just block off the doors?
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is at the very end. She's hunting him. Yeah. I mean, just everything about this movie. There's so much more that we could talk about.
Just everything.
There's so much more that we could talk about this movie. It's ridiculous. You know.
I can't wait to watch it again because I've only watched it the once.
I can wait.
But literally, I'm watching it, and I mean, it's just eye candy, and I'm trying to take it all in, but I know I missed so much because I'm trying to take in what I'm seeing on the screen.
As someone that actually did it, the second and third viewing, you're going to love it even more because you're going to start picking up on these little details and like story beats and like, I mean, I'm glad I did it, but like I said, I can't watch that movie again this year.
By the way, I'm just going to bring up the one cameo that happened only in name, but didn't have him appear on camera. Anybody else pick up on the fact that Lonnie was mentioned in the movie?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I didn't. I totally do not remember Loomis saying, Lonnie, that little shit kid that was trying, I had no idea.
Get your ass away from the house, Lonnie, or whatever.
Yeah, like when you told me that, I was like, okay, and then I went in and I looked it up, and you were right. I can admit.
That's right.
I thought you were just making shit up.
And it's like, the father, and they used to get high, whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever. So it's funny.
Tripping balls, he said.
Tripping balls together.
Tripping balls.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, whatever your heart desires to actually listen to us. We are also on Patreon, by the way. So,
we're back.
We're back. So we're producing.
We got the band back together. We're back.
Got the band back together. So we're producing content regularly. So check us out on Patreon if you want to absolutely, just help support the actual crew getting back together and producing content. That would be much appreciated. And absolutely join in on the conversations that we're going to be having on Facebook all the time. So, don't forget, once again, subscribe, and hit us up with anything else. And until next time, Tim.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Josh.
Have a good one.
Dave.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good one, everybody. See you next episode.